guys, I am planting garlic today. I'm actually out at my parents' house in their garden. My mom just had carpal tunnel surgery on both of her wrists, so she's not going to be able to plant for a little while, and my dad has been super busy, so I volunteered to come out and get their garlic in the ground for them. So far I've planted German red, French Germador, and Polish, and I saved the best for last. This is Italian. It's my favorite. It has the very best flavor. There are a couple of things I thought I would mention before I start planting. You want to make sure when you get your garlic that it is certified seed garlic. I get mine at our local nursery. A lot of people ask me if you can plant the garlic that you can purchase at your grocery store, and you don't want to do that because most of the time they don't have a variety name, so you don't even know if the garlic you're planting is good for your growing zone. And they also, a lot of the time, treat it with something that makes the shelf life longer, or a growth inhibitor where the garlic will sprout and come up, but it won't get very tall before the tops start to brown and curl, and it will never form a nice bulb. So just make sure you're picking up certified seed garlic. The other thing you want to be aware of is your growing zone, of course, and the schedule in which you plant. A lot of the time it's the same really for a lot of zones. You can plant fall or spring. We prefer fall in our area, zone 5, just because you get a much bigger and much more flavorful bulb. So we plant mid-September and then harvest right around 4th of July week. A lot of times the garlic in the fall, especially if the fall is a long, warm fall, it'll sprout and come up, and then it'll just lay there dormant underneath the snow, and it's totally fine. And in the spring when it warms up, it'll just resume growing and just keep on going. And then you get these huge, wonderful heads of garlic. If you live in a zone that's colder than mine, you might consider mulching up your new growth in the fall with some straw. Just to protect that baby growth, and then when the danger of frost is past in the spring, you can remove all of it and let it keep growing. And one other thing to keep in mind about garlic is it likes to grow in a sunny spot, usually receiving anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, and it likes a really well draining but rich soil. Most plants in the allium family like to be well fed, so remember to fertilize them often throughout their growing season. So my dad actually got all of the beds ready for me. He added in some Espoma plant tone fertilizer, alliums love it, and also some Gardener and Bloom raised bed potting mix. This has got all kinds of goodies in it, so he put a couple of bales in all of the raised beds that I planted in. So the last thing I need to do before I start planting is I need to separate all my cloves, and it's super easy to do. You just take your head of garlic and just separate them out just like that, and just make sure to keep the papery skin on the clove. When you get all done separating your cloves, you'll notice that you'll have all different sizes. They don't all come off the same size, and we don't like to plant the small ones, so you can tell a huge difference between the size of these two cloves. These ones we'll use in the kitchen, but we don't want to perpetuate these small little cloves of garlic, so we always select all of the big ones, and that's what we plant. Most planting guides will tell you to make a 2-inch deep trench and then to plant your cloves every 4 inches, and that is great. I do like to go a little bit further than that in my spacing, just because I like for my garlic heads to form up really big and they need space to do that. So I use my hand as a guide. We go from pinky to thumb, and that's how far apart we plant our cloves, and that's about like 6 inches or so. And then a trench is great. I don't have to do that in these raised beds because this soil is so soft. I can just place all my cloves in whatever design I want to plant in, and then I just have to push them down in and make sure they're covered with soil. So I'm just going to go ahead and get them all planted. You'll notice on your clove of garlic there are 2 ends. There's kind of a flat root end, and then there's a pointy end. And you want to put the root end down and the pointy end up, because the pointy end is where the garlic will grow from. That is all there is to it. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll be sure to post pictures and updates as the season progresses and show you guys how it's all doing. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.